Well, it's Monday again. That's what happens. December 3rd, 2018. We're at the very beginning of the final couple weeks of the year. Lots of things about to slowly but surely fall into place, if you know what I mean. So it seems like everything's coming up Millhouse, except in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Hello, everyone. My name is Owen. I am your mediator, as always, for tonight's Monday Wrestling Podcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. Joining me, as always, is the voice of professional wrestling here on the network, and that is Ashley.
Fucking hell, the granny beats the shit out of Captain Marvel. It wasn't just that random clip in the teaser of Carol beating the shit out of a grandma. Turns out grandma fights back. Oh, I'm trying to catch up on like Captain Marvel that I missed because, you know, Raw.
Oh, wait a minute. Speaking of that, before we get talking about Raw, or you get talking about Raw, because I don't know what happened. All I know is I saw Bobby Lashley doing an Ace Ventura parody. So here's the thing.
Then.
Samoa Joe selling Girl Scout cookies last week.
Yeah, I tell you, Edge and Christian show. Holy shit! The production standards and like the writing from last season has already gone up, and I've only seen like one episode and about 3 or 4 minutes of the second just before we were going on air. It is ridiculous.
I'm gonna start watching it. No, did you see the guy that Samoa Joe beat up?
I saw you tweet about it.
Yeah,
I have no clue who that person is. Yes, you
That's
know.
my boy PJ.
I am in the dark.
Bill S. Preston, Esquire himself. Yeah.
So shall we get started
That was cool.
with the good news or the bad news?
The good news is it's starting to cut out every 5 seconds, so this show may not go very long.
Shall we get started with the good news or the bad news?
I see a couple great signings for Ring of Honor.
No, we're talking about Raw. There's good news and bad news for it. Trick question. The good news comes first. The good news is it wasn't as bad as last week. The bad news is it's still shit.
Oh, shock surprise.
Although interestingly, well, it started off strong because we had a 10-bell salute to George Bush.
Well, that's cool.
And then we open up with a match. Ronda and Natalia versus Nia and Tamina. Except the Riot Squad show up with a table. And Nia and Tamina attack Ronda and Natalia. Beat them up. And then Jax takes care of Rousey. And then the Riot Squad powerbomb Natalia off the apron through the table that they put down at ringside. The match never started. So it's literally like we've got 2 different storylines going on at the same time. What the fuck?
Well, to be fair, in order to whet your appetite for the eventual match down the line, they had to do a non-finish.
Oh, no. We still get a match. We'll get to that.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Yeah. I don't understand. Because it's like, all these heels beating up the baby faces. Who's going to save the baby faces? The answer is fucking no one.
Are we talking about constant heat segments again?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Seriously.
And also, I think this is the
Boy.
third or fourth straight week that Natalia's been beaten the shit out of. Apparently, this is why her father died, just so she could be beaten the shit out of. I don't know. I don't get why they do this constant beating the shit out of her and exploiting her father's death.
God.
But then it gets worse. Because we're staying with the women.
Okay.
Alexa Bliss comes out.
All right.
Saying how she's, in charge of the women's division and wants to give everybody the best that the division has to offer. So, considering how much of a failure the open forum was last week, we're doing it again this week.
Oh, God.
So Sasha and Bayley come out to no fucking crowd reaction. And Alexa's sort of like, I had no clue. I was not aware why the other three women were going to attack you. And then a plant asked, Sasha, are you just using Bayley? And then Sasha, which in honest is the right response that partially saved this segment, when, Bayley's not supposed to find out about this. And then they laugh their ass off about it because it's like, okay, that's actually a good way to sort of demean the writing of this shit. Except that was probably written. So it's like, God. And then, of course, another fan asked, if you could be any superstars from any era, who would you be? And of course, they both said Trish and Lita. The crowd booed this because it was like, what a stupid fucking question. And then another fan asked, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? Crowd booed again because it's like, what are these fucking questions? Bailey's was be to have the power to make Bliss disappear, and then she did like a dance, like a celebratory dance round her chair for doing it, as if it's the bloody sick burn sort of thing again. And then, what changes would you bring to the women's division in 2019? And this is where it happened. Bayley says, we want to be the first WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
Oh, God, no.
The fans cheered, and I'm going, a month or two ago, I was excited by this. Considering how fucking shoddy this is all being written, fuck it. Then the heels showed up again. But then, interestingly, Alexa stopped them and, made them stop on the apron. So, Alexa booked Sasha and Bayley versus Mickey and Alicia.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding.
I love when Alexa goes.
I have to keep saying Bliss, don't I?
Because if not, it's going to keep going off.
Luckily, I think this is the only time we saw her. Yeah, I think it is. So,
thank goodness.
And the faces won. Bailey to belly on Mickey. Got the win. And then Bliss actually applauded the faces for winning. So I don't know what's going on.
I really hope this is all a big ruse and Alexa's fine. Haha, I got you. Needless to say, if that's the case, I really hope that that's a thing, because I don't want to see this be the end of her on the brand. Because to be quite honest, other than Ronda, I could care less about anybody else in the women's division in WWE and on Raw.
And also, it looks as if she may not be. She is. I think I said it last week how she's temporarily retired.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. I really hope that's not a permanent
there
thing.
was that. No, but there was that picture that came out Wednesday, I think, of her tweeting day one and her being in the performance center.
That's right. Yes.
So hopefully something's happening.
Please come back. Please try. Please be able to come back, is what I'm saying.
Tonight is Drew McIntyre Appreciation Night. I'm also going to get a video package looking at Corbin's rise to power, and I'm going, Jesus.
Stop it. Stop it now.
Morgan Waller is at ringside. He's involved with Tribute to the Troops. He looks like he's fucking high.
Well then, okay.
Which, considering the quality of tonight's show, maybe that's what we need.
a little Matt Riddle on the speed dial.
Bro. I'm guessing you've seen Botchamania. After my debut.
Yes. Debut, yes.
I tell a lie. There was another Bliss moment. Not moment of
Thank
bliss.
you.
There wasn't a moment of bliss. It was just Rowdy was with her, saying that Riot Squad cost the line and that she'd take care of Nia and Tamina if she had to. And Bliss is just like, look, I'll help you find a partner. And Ronda goes, look, you don't have a conscience. I'll find my own partner. So I don't know whether they're teasing here that Bliss is actually face at the minute.
It sounds like it.
And people are not trusting her because of her previous. But to be honest, if you think about it, given that we've got Nia and Tamina and the Riot Squad at the minute, there doesn't really need to be a heel authority figure in that bit. So the fact that she's sort of, I guess, grey probably is helping.
As long as we don't have another Dixie Carter situation, we're fine.
But keep in mind, all this women's stuff was like the first, probably about 40, maybe 50 minutes of the show. And it didn't get that well received. It's like, ugh. Awkward.
Wow. Well, what venue were we in tonight?
We were in Houston, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Don't worry, it gets worse.
Okay.
We had a video package for Baron Corbin, and like it felt like a bloody any political ad that you see where the person is slandering the other side. You know, just talking about their good points and wanting you to forget all their negative points. And Corbin versus Strowman is still happening at TLC as it stands. So I guess Strowman might be okay.
They could pull a fast one.
So then, and this is where it gets really. Oh no, I missed something. So Corbin's backstage. Gable and Rude come in and say they want a rematch. And Rude wants to get his hands on Drake for what happened.
Mm.
And Corbin goes, well, I will give you a title shot if you can beat Drake Maverick. And Rude's like, where's the catch? And Corbin goes, oh, there's no catch. AOP and Gable are banned from ringside. It's you and Drake one-on-one. So then Lucha House Party come out, followed by the Revival, and go, you know, you're not respecting tag team wrestling. And Scott basically goes, if you can't respect the tag team stuff, then we're going to have a singles match. JoJo then says, this match will be contested under Lucha House Party rules.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a 3-on-1 handicap. Unsurprisingly, Lucha House Party win.
Okay.
How the fuck? This is even more evidence for why are these guys faces?
That doesn't make any sense.
Why is a heel authority figure punishing the heels?
This doesn't make any sense at all.
And Corbin's angry at a guy showing up late with a jewelry box, but then said it's perfect for Drew. The advert for SmackDown that they then had. Apparently, they're doing a contract signing between the three women for the TLC match.
Mm.
And Daniel Bryan's going to guest on Miz TV. That's going to be interesting because, of course, is this going to be the beginnings of Miz turning face? Because Bryan's heel?
I have a feeling that's what we're building towards. And we're literally building towards Bryan and The Miz and at WrestleMania with Miz going over as the babyface.
So Corbin's in the ring talking about his rise to his position as he is now, you know. If you're born better than anybody else, you can achieve anything. This is the guy that fucking failed in the NFL.
Oh boy.
Drew's made his life pain-free lately. Thus, here's his appreciation night. And there's a Drew McIntyre video package. Drew comes out and basically goes along the lines of, you vacated, the scum that is Kurt Angle. Because he's gone, we need a gold medalist around here. So in this box is a gold medal. And then Drew basically says, wrestlers are playing video games in the back. When I returned and I'm reforming Raw in my image. It's going to be the home of the strong and mighty. The people are going to give 110, not even 110, 150% every day. Not just for Raw. Balor likes to think he's the voice of these fans. But Balor is a boy in a man's world. At TLC, I'll hurt him and break his spirit. And then here comes Dolph Ziggler's record thing.
Who's Dolph Record?
I was trying to say Dolph Ziggler's record, and I just forgot the Ziggler bit.
That's funny.
I guess because I can't say Bliss's first name. I'm
Thank
having
you.
to say, I'm literally like Apollo, Cesaro.
Wow. Okay.
And Ziggler's like, have you got a memory problem or something? I was the guy that brought you in and we dominated, and I wasn't even in that video package. Did my invite to this party get lost or something? And this is something I didn't think would ever happen. Dolph's turning face because Drew basically goes, "You were never invited. You know, you don't meet the height requirements for one. I was always the brains, muscle, and the talent of the business relationship. It's no longer working for me. Your role was to get me into a prominent position, and you succeeded for once in your life. Then tried to get rid of him. This is literally fucking like Shawn Michaels and Diesel 20 years on."
Oh, you mean the thing I said at the very beginning of this
Yeah.
program? Yep.
Ziggler didn't leave, and McIntyre said, "You should kiss my feet because I'm the reason that you become relevant for the first time in 10 years. And I'm going, fuck off. The feud with The Miz made him relevant, and that was last year. That was this time last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Before he got fired, or before he disappeared and then came back at the Rumble or something.
Correct.
And Ziggler hit Drew several times, gave him the zigzag, and before he could go to the back, Corbin goes, "Oh no, you're having a match." Actual good angle. And thanks to a Finn Balor distraction on the outside, he did come out before the commercial, but he was there, and basically Drew crotched Ziggler on the barricade and put him in the ring, and the ref was looking at Dolph.
Right.
Which allowed Balor to do the running drop kick on him.
Yeah.
Drew nearly got counted out, got in at sort of 9.99999, immediately super kicked, and then that's it. Dolph wins. And as they say, that's the first time that Drew has been pinned or submitted. So rather than make anything special about it, they just put it on a piss poor Raw. Huh? So then Charlie's backstage and says, "Was it smart to turn on Dolph when Balor's going after you?" And Drew goes, "Dolph was never a friend. He was just an asset. A parasite that's attached to me on my rise to the top. And as for Finn, he's a marked man."
So when's Drew going to start wearing a black headband and black glove?
Ladies and gentlemen, Elias.
Goody.
Says how he wishes Bobby would be here so he could wrap his guitar around his head. But he's hard to find. But at TLC, there will be nowhere to hide. And at TLC, Lashley will find the ultimate truth, the universal truth, and that's WWE. Stands for walking with ease. And he's just about to sing, except Lio Rush cuts him off. And Rush and Bobby are on stage. Says, "As much as we'd love to hear you your song. The spotlight belongs to Bobby Lashley. You felt the power and strength of Bobby Lashley, and because of course Lio Rush is saying this. And at TLC, you'll feel it again and again and again. And Lashley has the most magnificent body in the world. You know, Michelangelo couldn't envision such a physique. And then he's doing his poses, which of course concludes with pointing at his ass.
Yeah, Ace Ventura.
And Elias charges up the ramp. Lashley beats him down, but Elias reverses Irish whip into the LED stage wall, grabs his guitar. Lashley escapes, as does Leo. But then Leo just like sort of stumbles out of the entranceway. And Elias hit him in the back of the head, or hit him in the back, I should say, with a guitar. Why are you wondering what happened? Dun 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 dun.
Oh God!
We'll be on Ross's video tomorrow. Because the cameras missed Finn Balor throwing Rush back onto the stage. And Elias pointed at Balor, and Balor did the too sweet sign back at him. I liked Elias's stuff. Lashley is like a black hole that sucks up any excitement for anything.
What's wrong with him?
Well, the problem is Lio Rush. He's too good, which makes you just care for Lio Rush and not Lashley. Especially when it's, you know, it's like, oh, remember back in when they did an animated version of Vince during the Kiss My Ass days?
I do.
All you need to do is redo the lyrics. Mr. Lashley and his ass. And his ass! You know, it's like, why should I care? This is being written basically for 10-year-olds. And I don't think, because apparently, according to the reports, Vince was the one that practically wrote last week's shit show. Not the writers.
Garbage. Just
which makes me think Vince doesn't know the demographic of who's watching his product. Because the sad thing is, over half of them are like over 40 or over 50. So doing all this kid shit is not going to appeal to them.
This is just terrible.
You know, Baron's backstage, disgusted by Lashley being treated this way, and Jinder's in the ring. Or sorry, Jinder's in the office with him. And Jinder's like, don't stress about this. No, don't worry, you'll be putting an end to Braun Strowman. But as for tonight, I want Finn Balor tonight. And Corbin says, okay, I like the sound of that. But as for Strowman, yeah, he's just a one-armed man.
God.
And then Jinder left, and then in comes Slater and Rhino and says, you know, I've been crunching the numbers, and there's only room for one of you on Raw. So one of you has to quit to save the other guy's job, and neither wanted to. And Corbin said, okay, I'm booking you in a match against each other, and whoever loses, getting fired. So Drake Maverick versus Bobby Roode. Maverick in his AOP gear and everything. And Roode, you know, got the better of Maverick quite a bit. Who was scared for quite a little bit of it. But then up on the screen, AOP's beating the shit out of Chad Gable backstage. And Baron Corbin shows up and says, "Oh, by the way, it's a 3-on-2 handicap match." What the fuck? Then again, this makes the Lucha House Party thing even more fucking weird. Because, oh look, the heels actually got the advantage and beat up the baby faces and won. Then they recap Dean's meat injection. Sorry, multiple injections. God damn it. And then they mention how John Cena's won the Muhammad Ali Legacy Award at the Sports Illustrated Awards, even though they're not happening for a couple of weeks. And then here comes Dean Ambrose.
Don't you mean Bane Ambrose?
Stop ruining my joke.
Dang it.
You know, all these guys are coming out in black with gas masks on. And here comes Dean in a brown coat. And a gas mask himself. And it's just like... Please tell me this works. No, that's a fucking advert. God damn it.
Of course it is.
Where's the actual... And so Dean got on the mic and went,
"You can't be too safe in a dangerous slum like Houston, Texas. I needed these measures to protect me from that madman Seth Rollins. Yes."
God.
he removed the gas mask, but fuck it. It's staying on.
You know, all these fans sticking their phones in my face. Do they know what it's like to live with someone who always has to be right? Do they slap that person in the mouth if they do? They don't, because they have no character. You all cheer Rollins, you are idiots. I was once proud of the Shield, but then Seth and Roman started caring about being role models. I haven't changed. I'm the only person in the business that has integrity. I am the moral compass of WWE. Seth will lose control of himself and the Intercontinental title at the pay-per-view. The title will fall safely into my hands.
And I'm going... At least we've buried the whole cancer angle. Maybe. But then the same thing as it's like, do you know what it's like to live with somebody who also has to be right? Is this some sort of dig at Renee? Which makes me think, Oh, fuck. Are we trying... Are WWE trying to punish people for marrying without their approval? Again? Just like they did with bloody Lana and Rusev? And just like they're probably going to try and do now with Zelina Vega and Aleister Black? Seth then showed up through the crowd, took out a few of the SWAT team people. The SWAT team people were getting involved constantly, but Ambrose eventually got the better, hitting him with a gas mask. Punch Rollins on the floor, because I think it was over the barrier in the crowd where this happened. Oh no, it was just they got over the barricade by then. And did dirty deeds on the floor, and the fans are chanting one more time, which is like brilliant. With Ambrose going,
He doesn't have integrity. I have integrity.
and then dirty deeds in the ring, because apparently you couldn't just have it happen once. It was the sad thing is, it was interesting to see a different entrance for Dean. The problem is, it was clearly fucking Bane, which is like, 6 years late. Ever so slightly.
Mm.
Should have chosen that music, shouldn't I? Also, because it sounds like bloody Goldberg stuff. Should have chosen that one. I think that's the one I was looking for. And of course, what happens after this? Corey says, Renee, what's going on with Dean? And she's like, look, I don't know what you want me to say. I'm in a precarious situation with this. And then, Corey goes on it further, and it's like, do you know or not? And clearly they're making this into an angle, and clearly they're both happy with it, because Renee's like, nobody is entitled to know what goes on behind closed doors between a husband and a wife. How dare you? How dare? I'm sick of the asking. Because if bloody Renee eventually turns out she's in on this, how the fuck can we do Raw? Because once again, we have a flip-flopping commentating station. Because for 80 to 90% of the show, Corey will be the heel. And then all of a sudden, he'll be face because Renee's the heel when it's anything to do with Dean Ambrose. That was why it didn't work with Coach.
Right.
And to be honest, Cole, because remember, I love Elias and his singing when he was a heel. And now they still love his singing when he's a face.
You gotta make up your mind. You're way too wishy-washy. But that's not how Cole's always been.
So Charlie's interviewing Nia and Tamina backstage, and Ronda's apparently teaming with Ember Moon because that's the only other woman that's on the fucking roster.
ridiculous.
And Nia did a good job this week, and then let the side down. Because in Jake, very much in the sort of Jake the Snake style, they were just like, "Oh, that's a shame that she's teaming with Ember Moon, because we were hoping it'd be you, Charlie." That might sound ridiculous, but it's just as ridiculous as anybody teaming with Ronda against us. I'd rearrange Ember's appearance just like I did with Becky Lynch. Why do we keep bringing this up when there is no... Remember, there's one night of the year when Raw and SmackDown go against each other and never acknowledge each other? No, they're doing that every week because they're making fun of it. And they torture Rousey well on her way to recovery of what's mine is mine. Mine! And yet it's like, if you didn't lose control of your voice right at the end of that, that might have been fucking exciting. But you fucked it up. Well done. I can't wait for it that Nia legit injures Ronda somehow at TLC, therefore losing them their WrestleMania main event again. And then it will truly be a case of, so you want to push Nia, but at the same time, she's injured both parts of what you wanted, possibly, for the main event of WrestleMania. Also, I do find it interesting because I can't be bothered to talk about SmackDown, even though it was actually pretty good, and there should be. Becky Lynch is actually now #1 in the sports top 50 on ESPN. She's ahead of anybody in any sport, be it football, be it soccer, be it tennis, be it golf, anything. Becky's the #1.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot. Normally, they don't acknowledge anything to do with WWE. This is getting mainstream press. If they still think that Charlotte versus Ronda is the right thing to do at WrestleMania, they're truly idiots.
Yeah, I can see that being an issue.
Rhino and Slater was over in basically a minute, with Slater winning.
Interesting.
And Corbin applauds Heath backstage and says, Slater goes, look, is there anything you could do for Rhino? You know, because he's got a family. And Corbin just goes, no, don't worry. We'll be able to do a lot. And hands him a referee shirt and goes, I wasn't going to keep you as a wrestler. I'm keeping you on as a referee.
Jeez.
But the thing is, they're doing all this to like make you invested in Baron Corbin.
Right.
But the likelihood is that Strowman's winning at TLC.
Yeah, that makes the most
Makes
sense.
everything that he's doing sort of null and void. Because somehow they've got to get the belt off bloody Lesnar if he is doing UFC stuff. Because I doubt they'll be happy, UFC, if he somehow got injured in some sort of combination of stuff at WrestleMania if they did keep him on.
Right.
Build up to whatever they decide to do. Finn and Jinder. Finn wins with the coup de grace. Although it is worth noting, the Sings tried to interfere, but Apollo Crews ran out to make the save.
Okay.
Well, if you remember, the last match Apollo Crews had, he beat Jinder.
Don't remember.
Well, you weren't here.
That's right. I was doing important things, getting paid for it.
Well, no, because it was like first week in November, so
Yeah,
probably
would have been.
yeah, it may have been. But and Charlie interviews Finn afterwards and says, "Look, I've had a hell of a night," and then Drew attacks him from behind, and then we hype up more Lars Sullivan.
Why? I mean,
I'm leaving that as a rhetorical question.
I'm just gonna say why. Why is Lars Sullivan something? He's basically just a better, a more in shape version of Sid Vicious.
So Nia and Tamina come out. Ronda comes out, and then Ember comes out. But the heels beat up Ronda. Ember runs to make the save. And Ronda eventually sort of tagged in because Moon was doing some stuff on, first. And then Ronda tagged in and wanted Nia and, tagged out. She wanted nothing to do with her. And then Tamina went after Ronda a bit. But then Moon performed the Eclipse. Ronda put the armbar on her. And Tamina tapped out. Trying to say she is a pussy. What would your alleged murderer father think about that, Tamina? You tapping out to an armbar. That's the great thing. Rather than have like a fierce woman that doesn't, that's already got the advantage on Ronda and whatever, being scared shitless of Ronda coming after her. Who's the Terminator?
I want to know why we've talked an hour on Raw already.
Because I was hoping it would be better. Like, in a constructive way. I guess it sort of is, because it isn't as bad as last week. But for the second week running, overall, it is a terrible show. And I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
We've got a pay-per-view coming up, and I don't care.
Let's have a look.
I mean, I care about a pay-per-view coming up. We just can't cover it because I'm busy. Which I'd much rather cover Final Battle here.
Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, God.
I'd
like to.
So we got the Mixed Match Challenge Finals. Depends what happens with that tomorrow. Seth and Dean Seth and Dean will be a good match.
Mm.
It's just Dean is being treated like fucking shit.
Okay, once again, I'll say this. I know I'm not the target demographic, obviously, but I just want wrestling. If I can get a good match, I don't care what the storyline buildup is. I just want to see a match. Like you said, Seth and Dean will be great as a match. I don't care about the storyline.
Strowman and Corbin. This is something I just noticed as well. Strowman and Corbin is an actual TLC match.
Oh, God.
No, but that means they're having 2 TLC matches on the pay-per-view.
Right.
Well, normally they have a TLC match, they have a table match, they have a ladder match, and a chair match.
Right. Exactly.
But they're having 2 TLC because they're getting away with it being, oh, it's the first time ever the women are having a TLC match. Who knows?
And
Ronda and Nia? No.
just no.
Brian and AJ? Yes.
Oh, God, yes. Of course.
Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Asuka? Yes. Finn Balor versus Drew? Again, should be a good match. Storyline is, you're a fucking midget. It's like Baron Corbin has bloody regenerated Doctor Who style to Drew McIntyre. Elias and Bobby Lashley?
Mm.
And The Bar, New Day, and Usos in a triple threat tag team match for the tag titles. Yes. Oh, look. Everything on the SmackDown side I'm excited for. Everything on the Raw side, fuck off.
Yeah, it seems to be the general consensus on the internet.
On that point, does this mean Nakamura isn't wrestling on a pay-per-view again?
Looks like it.
And who knows what's going on with the cruiserweights? Because I'm looking at that as it stands, not even including Nakamura or the cruiserweights. There's 9 matches set for TLC.
Why?
Well, because you've got all these singles matches with Finn and Drew and Elias and Lashley. You know, basically, Strowman and Corbin is the equivalent of a Universal title match. So I get that.
Right.
I get the IC title match. I get the 2 women's matches.
Okay.
I get Brian and AJ. I get the Bar, New Day, and Usos with the tag titles. I get that. Notice that AOP is nowhere on this show. As it stands.
I don't have a problem with that.
I would not be surprised if that somehow becomes a pre-show match.
Perhaps.
In 13 days. But just. So one thing that surprised me this week. The ratings for Impact Wrestling on Thanksgiving were basically exactly the same as they were the week before Thanksgiving. Actually, no. I take it back. The Thanksgiving episode was actually up on the week before, and the ratings from this past week were basically exactly the same. Which confused the shit out of me. You know, the holiday show actually got more viewers when normally they absolutely do terrible. I have no clue what's going on. In terms of Impact stuff, Lucha Brothers beat Swan and Willie Mack in pretty good match, in all honesty. With LAX challenging the Lucha Brothers for Homecoming. That'll be a good match. I don't know whether we're covering that one. I guess that's too far ahead, isn't it?
When is it again?
January 6th, I believe.
Right after Wrestle Kingdom?
Yeah.
I'll have to get back to you.
Exactly. Then we're doing qualifying matches for the Ultimate X starting next week. So I don't know, can't remember who's supposed to be part of that from the tapings. Jordan Grace beat Katarina. Then there's some sort of Scarlet Bordeaux stuff, because of course there is. Then Tommy Dreamer took a shot at millennials, because apparently this is the new thing now. Millennials is the word. Wow. Eli Drake doesn't care about the men and women that paved the way for him to be where he is. No, in the end, people talk about Dreamer's career and not Eli Drake's. Thing is, that's true, because Dreamer's career just made me see him do the Dreamer streamer as if he was the fat kid from the Goonies, which was the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Taya Valkyrie beat Ray Lynn. And Tessa Blanchard doing a run-in afterwards with Gail Kim making the save. So is Gail Kim coming out of retirement? Because she's going to face Tessa Blanchard. And I'm going, brilliant. Why did we give you the title when you retired then? When you're going to be coming back? And then Impact's talking about Cage, and then Killer Cross shows up.
Oh, no. Your favorite.
Basically, Cross is saying that you should use me to get assistance with Cage. So I'm like, okay. Whose side is he on? Is this how we're burying Aries even more? Even though he's showing up to stuff, but he isn't being used? Huh?
We'll see.
The Rascals beat Mike Seidel. Yes, that is Matt's brother.
Wow.
What, are they the real Doink and Dink now then? What's going on? And also Chris Bay, whoever that is. Kira Hogan wants Ali to come home. Then we're in a mental hospital with Alicia trying to talk to Eddie, who's on drugs. And then Moo shows up. You know, why am I not in this book? Why is Alicia leaving you not in this book? Why is ending in a mental hospital not in this book? You know, this book is a farce. You know, you'll stay in this hospital, Eddie, but I'll take care of Alicia. This is the one bit where I was like, is this a fucking David Lynch production? Which normally I say a lot. I mean, anything involving Disco Inferno and Scarlet Bordeaux, you know, is David Lynch. But jeez. And then Dreamer beat Eli Drake by count out because Drake just walked away. Except then Josh Matthews suddenly goes, I've just had word from the officials that this is going to be restarted under no DQ. And Eli wins. Basically by putting a chair around Dreamer's neck and hitting a baseball swing with another chair and everything on it. Or it might have been with the baseball bat or something. And then backstage, Drake found balloons and a card. And Drake seemed surprised. So it looks as if Scarlett Bordeaux, rather than being a wrestler, despite the fact she's actually pretty good at this now, is just being used as basically a valet to pump Drake up to beat the shit out of ECW people.
So what you're saying is she's Taryn Terrell right now, but reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Notice the way I was saying, yeah.
Don't start. You know, I hate that character so much.
So WWE is having tryouts in Chile. Some of the names to mention: Ricky Marvin, who's wrestled in basically, well, both CMLL and AAA, and I believe also Pro Wrestling Noah for quite a while. Manuel Alejandro Saez, who was in the Cruiserweight Classic when that happened. Stephanie Vaca, who's wrestled in the US, Japan, and Mexico. I don't recognize her directly. Dragonbane. Dean's going,
There's no other Bane in this company. Yes.
King of the Air champion, apparently for IWRG. Datara, who was in the Mae Young Classic earlier this year, or a few months back. Alex Hero from the Chilean indie scene for a number of years. Keira, who wrestles for AAA but has also done stuff for Impact and Crash. Female, by the way, that is. They're also WWE have announced they're doing Indian tryouts in March as well. Apparently, Matt Bloom, Robbie Brookside, and Sarah Del Rey were in attendance, along with a few NXT wrestlers like Benoni and Mendoza, among others. Nice to know. Swagger announced today that he's debuting in Bellator next month. I don't know why. Just is.
Literally saw that right before we went on the air.
He's going to be on the undercard of a January 26th show. Yes, that is the show that is running the same night as TakeOver. So you won't be fucking watching that. You'll be watching TakeOver. Brilliant. No, I'll mention that later. Roderick Strong's on the Evolve cards.
Saw that.
On TLC weekend. One of which is basically it was Austin Theory and Fabian Eichner in a one-on-one match. Except now it's a triple threat.
Huh.
And then Roddy faces Darby Allin the following night on 118.
You know, it's interesting, Ashley. Gabe used to work back in the back for ECW, and now basically his promotion has now become the new ECW.
No, I think you'll find that British wrestling is more the new ECW?
When it comes to the US, I think it would be Evolve, but I see what you mean in general.
Evolve isn't having talent stolen from them. There's a talent exchange. If anything, it's more like the New Japan WCW collaboration from the mid-90s.
That makes sense.
ECW is what's happening at the minute with Fight Club Pro and ICW. We'll get to that. So the standings for New Japan as we build into the final week. By the way, actually, no, the biggest news. Fucking Excalibur's calling the final 3 nights of the World Tag League.
God, I saw that.
This is like fucking brilliant. I might have to actually watch this shit now. It's brilliant. So Thursday morning, Friday morning, and Sunday morning, I'm gonna be fucking watching because it's Excalibur, damn it.
When is this again?
Yeah. Oh, the early hours of Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Because Thursday is a 6:30 Tokyo bell time. Friday is a 7. The interesting... Hang on.
And I work at 8 a.m. every day that week.
Trying to look at the world clock. So it's currently, as it stands, 2:15. So Tokyo is 14 hours ahead of the East Coast.
Okay.
Which basically means that, yeah, the finals start at 1 in the morning.
God.
East Coast.
Considering the fact I have to be up for work at like 6:45, that's not happening.
That, of course, means, though, that, I mean, admittedly, there is a big UFC show going on as well, which will Well, no. For people on the West Coast, because the UFC show will finish by, let's say, around 9 or 10 o'clock their time, the New Japan finals, including Ibushi versus Goto, is happening pretty much straight after. So that's a pretty decent double bill. If you're on the East Coast and you're willing to stay up a bit late, that's a pretty good double bill. If you're on the West Coast, that's legit a good double bill. Because, we'll get to UFC in a minute, but, it seems promising. They've also announced that they are going to be doing a couple of Korakuen Hall Tokyo Dome shows, which I believe will be New Japan's last shows before the January 3rd Fan Fest stuff, January 4th, and the New Year Dash. So that'll obviously build to more Wrestle Kingdom matches. Trying to see if I don't think anything else got added to that. I'm still waiting on the English New Japan thing to do the English subtitles for Taguchi and his crazy shit talking about the matches. Because he's funny. Yeah, and next Sunday, the only confirmed match is Goto and Ibushi. So with day 13, with 3 days to go, we know that Yoshida and Amino are out because they're 0 and 10.
Right.
They're out. Probably also out Nagata and Nakanishi on 1 and not on 2 points, 1 and 9.
I'm pretty sure they're out.
Also out, Tenzan and Kojima on 6, Makabe and Hanari on 8, Haman Yujiro on 8, Suzuki and Azuka on 10, Saber Junior and Taichi on 10, and the Best Friends on 10 as well. Basically, all but out as well. Elgin and Cobb and Juice Robinson and Dave Finlay on 12.
Mm-hmm.
But then it gets interesting. Because obviously with 3 days left, Killer Elite Squad are on 14. On 7 and 3. Ishii and Yano are on 16 points. Evil and Sonata are on 16 points. And the Gorillas of Fuck are on 16 points.
I think they're winning.
On the head-to-head stuff, Evil and Sonata lost to the Gorillas, but beat Ishii and Yano. And the Gorillas have beaten Evil and Sonata, but haven't faced Ishii and Yano yet.
Hmm.
Remember, the top 2 teams go at each other on the final.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Gorillas and Evil and Sonata.
I think that's the match we're looking at.
They're probably the strongest. But then again, with the Gorillas having the belts, would it be too much of a spoiler to have like Evil and Sonata win the tag league, then obviously get their shot at the tag belts at Wrestle Kingdom?
That makes
And
the most sense.
And yeah, but then obviously the Gorillas would beat them. Because we know how these tag titles go. They change hands every other match.
Right.
So I'm wondering whether they might be doing Killer Elite Squad versus Evil and Sonata.
Perhaps.
Because I don't know who they've got left. New Japan schedule. Kobe, Yamagata, and Akita. I thought that was a dog.
Akita?
Well, the Gorillas of Fuck have got Amino and Yoshida, the young boys. So that's a obvious one. Sonata and Evil have got Finlay and Robinson, and Yano and Ishii have got the Best Friends. That's for day 1 of the 3 that we've got coming up, which will be starting actually in a few hours. And then Yamagata on early hours of Thursday. Ishii and Yano versus the Young Boys. Killer Elite Squad have got Yujiro and Page. Who have they got on the first day? Hanare and Makabe. That's fair. Sonata and Evil versus Azuka and Suzuki. And the Gorillas versus the Best Friends. And then the one that could decide it, Sonata and Evil versus the Killer Elite Squad. That might squash my plan if they're facing each other in the last day.
I don't know. It could be a surprise win for the Killer Elite Squad.
No, this could be interesting. Sonata and Evil are facing the Killer Elite Squad. The Gorillas of Fuck are facing Yano and Ishii.
They both are going to lose.
They're actually facing each other in the final match when it will become to basically, decisiveness. That leaves it up in the air. All I want, though, is Excalibur to go, unbelievable. Because that'll be enough. Rev Pro's already sold out of their show in February. Mainly because the dream match is finally happening. Ospreay versus Pac. I dare Rev Pro to put that on the British television coverage, because that might be actually like, what? Some Ring of Honor bits, most notably Brody King has signed with Ring of Honor. Oh, and PCO. The 50-year-old, I don't know what, is going to be a Ring of Honor talent. Therefore, both have had to leave MLW, which means that LA Park is now facing Sami Callihan in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Which I don't know how to feel about. It seems interesting and also not interesting. Also, I'm really wondering what the hell they're going to be doing with PCO at Ring of Honor.
I could see a program between PCO and Jeff Cobb for the TV title.
I honestly think that's going to be Brody King.
It could go either way.
Unless PCO is the guy that put Silas in the WWE.
That's also a possibility.
Because the whole last real man and then PCO comes in and outmans him. Therefore, writing him out means he can go to the E.
If he goes.
Well, he's been around sort of before, so we'll see. There was an interesting thing that cropped up though regarding Evolve. I forgot. So LAX was supposed to be on the shows.
Yeah.
Facing the Street Profits. But Impact pulled them. The full statement reads this, quote, "We're sorry to inform you that Impact Wrestling's pulled LAX off the upcoming Evolve dates. Evolve officials are contacted by LAX informed us they were needed for something else that weekend. No other explanation was given. Impact Wrestling didn't contact Evolve officials and left it up to LAX. There's no heat on LAX, as WWE understands the situation they were put in. Evolve officials had told LAX that the plan was to have matches with the Street Profits that weekend. Evolve was informed by Impact that LAX would not be able to lose in those matches. Therefore, and to avoid political issues, Evolve made one night a triple threat match and the other a six-man tag. Therefore, the LAX Street Profit matches could happen, but all parties could be protected. So basically, LAX could pin the other team that wasn't the Street Profits somehow.
Right.
And then win the six-man tag, whatever it was. Unfortunately, Impact Wrestling waited until the matches were announced and then pulled the talent the next day. This all could have been easily avoided by not allowing LAX to take the dates in the first place. Evolve will no longer consider booking Impact Wrestling contracted talent moving forward. Rip Jordan Grace, then, I guess. Unless she isn't on contract. Because considering how the WWE controls Progress, allegedly, the fact that they're allowing Jordan Grace to do Progress shows and OTT shows makes me wonder whether she isn't actually on proper contract yet.
She may not be.
Evolve officials are currently working on a replacement. I don't think they've announced it yet, have they?
Not that I'm aware. Oh, wait a minute. I think I saw it somewhere, but I might be wrong.
Let me have a quick look. I know they've announced today about the Roderick Strong stuff, but I don't know whether they've clarified up the tag title situation. JD Drake and Anthony Henry are basically going to be involved in the tag titles match. But interestingly, if JD Drake is pinned, he'll lose the WN title to whoever who pins him. Which makes me think that Anthony Henry is getting pinned.
It's possible.
So everybody retains the title. Because if the Street Profits drop the titles already, the Street Profits go back into obscurity. Because let's be honest, this is the only way they're becoming relevant at the minute because there's no time for them on NXT. Despite the fact they're growing into a promising team. And they're facing Harlem Bravado and Austin Theory the following night if the Street Profits are still champions. But considering the whole JD Drake stuff and everything, I'm logically thinking they must be. Because otherwise, it don't make sense. Actually, looking at it, I wouldn't be surprised if Ono interfered on the Street Profits' behalf because Ono's facing Anthony Henry the net following night. And that's decent storytelling. You see that, Vince? That's how you do it.
I think Hero needs to take the Evolve title.
Well, they did say that they'd be dripping in gold in 2019.
Have Hero take the Evolve title and have it bring it to Full Sail in January. That's how you shake things up.
Now Renee is trending above anybody else in WWE. Apparently.
Not just saying that because I will most likely be at Full Sail in January.
Dear Corey and Cole, stop asking Renee about Dean and his antics. Respect her privacy. Sign people everywhere. Yeah.
Accurate.
Matt Fowler, who writes for IGN. So, Renee, anything to add to this? Yes, the League of Shadows has been sleeping in our garage for 3 days and I hate it.
Wow.
Yes. Bravo.
That's hilarious. So have you seen about the deal that Matt and Nick Jackson signed with LJN?
Not LJN.
Through basically the old school, like ginormous plastic, non-movable, non-bendable wrestling figures.
The weird shit.
Yes. The things that if you step on in the middle of the night, it will mess your foot up something fierce.
The weird shit.
They're going to be creating Young Bucks figures. As far as I know, that's all we know as of right now.
Jeez. Hot
commodity. Waiting for the Elite merchandise shirt to come to a Hot Topic. I'm sure it's not going to be too much longer.
Oh, that's interesting. Hot Sauce Tracy Williams versus Zack Sabre Jr. on the Ring of Honor TV tapings after Final Battle.
Another thing I'm trying to do is go to ROH in Lakeland next year for tapings.
Also, is it worth noting the XFL news that's coming?
No, the fact that we're not getting a team for some reason
on Wednesday. Basically, it's like we're going to be announcing it a week from now on the Wednesday because this was last Wednesday. And then, lo and behold, their own fucking website lists contact information if you want to get in touch with the XFL and whatever. And then, right directly on the website, because the images exists, it's got the phone number for the league headquarters, and then Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, New York, St. Louis, Seattle, Tampa, and Washington, D.C.
Again,
Which, if you look at that, how much of that is catering more to the West Coast than the East Coast?
yeah, because you would think that we would have a team because we did before.
Because Dallas and Houston are pretty much Central America, give or take.
Right.
I know one's Mountain, I think, and one's Central Time, but I'm saying Central part of America.
Hmm.
Los Angeles is West Coast. New York's East. Tampa Bay's East. St. Louis is, I guess, East.
Midwest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sort of center then.
Yes.
Ish.
We'll go with that.
Seattle's West.
Yeah.
And DC is East.
Yep.
So it's more sort of equating to the Western-ish side. Also, I'm surprised about DC having a team.
Well, as popular as Orlando City is here, I have no idea how we didn't get a team. Perhaps we don't really have a venue. That might be the reason why.
Well, the big thing is that I'm surprised about. The only obvious choice there is St. Louis, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because St. Louis now doesn't have an NFL team. So then everybody there is now going to flock to that and make it their team. Everywhere else, are they going to pick the Cowboys and the Texans and God knows how many LA teams and both New York teams and the Seahawks and the Buccaneers and are they still called the Redskins?
Actually, you might as well be speaking another language to me right now.
Are they still called the Redskins, the Washington Redskins?
I don't know.
I don't even remember.
Let's find out. To the interwebs. As far as, yeah, they're still the Redskins.
Yeah, but St. Louis makes sense. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So basically, if St. Louis doesn't win, it's a failure. Los Angeles wins. It's like, well, are they going to give a shit? Because, you know, I know it isn't the same city, but San Francisco, the LA Rams, Oakland Raiders, there's a shit ton of teams going over there now. Just a load of stuff. Quickly running over the UFC stuff for this week and coming up to this week because there's some interesting stuff. Actually, first thing, the boxing.
I heard
Because it
about
keeps
this.
cropping up in all the UFC stuff. Because just like last year with the scandal over the Alvarez Golovkin fight, when the judging was completely all over the place, it was a very good fight. I would say Tyson edged it despite the knockdowns that did happen. So one of the judges gave it a 113 each draw, which was the English one, ironically. The American judge gave it 114, 110, I believe, to Tyson Fury, which is probably fair. The draw could, there could be an interpretation of a draw easily if the knockdowns get counted, depending on the score. Then the Mexican judge, because I think he was Mexican, the supposed impartial one, gave it 115, 111 to Deontay Wilder, of which nobody understands how Deontay won the fight by 2 rounds, because Tyson was more controlling in the rounds. So they might be doing a rematch, they might not, but it was a hell of a fight. The radio commentary over here in the UK was fantastic because I listened to it to myself. I've seen the clips of Moro losing his shit. So it's like, at least we're getting good ring announcers for some of this important wrestling and some of this important, boxing stuff that is happening. Not just generic boring shit from others. But this was brought up all the time. Instead of any of the UFC stuff that happened this weekend, which is annoying because we've got, Ultimate Fighter stuff and some other important things. The other thing as well, there was a Canadian boxer that I think is still in a critical condition after his fight. He was like the oldest world champion and basically got knocked out late on in the third round. In the 11th round, I believe. So I'm hoping he does okay. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. With the UFC stuff, the Ultimate Fighter Heavy Hitters finale. The main event had Usman beat Rafael dos Anjos by unanimous decision. And then in the 2 tournament finals, Juan Espino Diepa beat Justin Fraser with a arm lock submission in the first round to win the heavyweight finals. And Macy Chiasson beat Pani Kianzad with a rear naked choke midway through the second to win the women's featherweight tournament final. Diepa got a $50,000 bonus for his win, as did Usman. Joseph Benavidez, who was on the prelims, beating Alex Perez, got a $50,000, and then Roosevelt Roberts. Yes, they still name kids Roosevelt on Fight Pass with his submission win, also got $50,000. The woman did not get anything. Just give it to the men. Also, Antonia Shevchenko, who I don't know whether is related to Valentine. I don't think she is. No. Wow. So her name's Antonia Shevchenko, but she's Kyrgyzstan, but also Peruvian. That's complicated. Oh, she is the older sister of Shevchenko. There we go. She got a win. She did come on weight, her opponent didn't, so that happened there. And then within about a day or so later, because it was in Adelaide, Australia, UFC Fight Night. The big stuff from that, Mark Hunt lost in his last fight by unanimous decision to Justin Willis. Marcio Rua beat Tyson Pedro. And Junior Dos Santos beat Tai Tuivasa. Kai Kara France and Elias Garcia, who were on the prelims, got a $50,000 bonus for fight of the night, despite the fact it was 30-25, 30-25, 30-26. So pretty one-sided in favor of Kai Kara France. And Marcio Rua got a $50,000 performance bonus along with Sodiq Yusuf for his TKO over Suman Mokhtarian. So this weekend, big stuff in Toronto, UFC 231, the penultimate pay-per-view of the year. The big stuff, the 2 big titles, Max Holloway defending the featherweight title against Brian Ortega, and Valentina Shevchenko versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk for the vacant women's flyweight title. The rematch between them, except of course It's a... Oh, no, it isn't a rematch. Because Joanna's moved up to the division. So, certainly as promised to be a very good match. We've also got Jimmy Manoa on the undercard, the English fighter taking on Thiago Santos. Hakeem Daewoo versus Kyle Bochniak, and Alex Oliveira versus Gunnar Nelson. Claudia Gadefa, Jessica I, two of the standout names on the Fox Sports 1 prelims. And then on the Fight Pass prelims, nobody that I recognize, but we'll probably talk about one of them more than likely when it gets round to fight of the night, because quite often, more than not now, some of the Fight Pass fights are actually getting either performance bonuses or fight of the night, which is pretty good. And then the final UFC on Fox airs next week on TLC weekend, so that'll be something maybe interesting. Probably won't be though. Tribute to the Troops is being recorded today at Fort Hood in Texas, which I guess makes sense. Oh, the MLW news that they were teasing that we were talking about last week. Apparently, the show on Friday, December 14th is going to be live.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's going to be a special long show or whether it's an hour. If it's an hour, that don't make sense. But there you go. So some NXT spoilers. Riddle beat Punishment Martinez. Way to bury the new guy against the new guy. Shayna beat Dakota Kai with Io Shirai making the save. Ciampa was doing some stuff, and then Black and Gargano got involved, and they're doing a cage match because of War Games and whatever. EC3 beat Bobby Fish, and then teamed up with Heavy Machinery, or Kevin Machinery cleaned house. An Undisputed Era got involved. Lorcan and Birch beat the Mighty. Mia Yim beat Rena Gonzalez. I forgot to mention the Forgotten Sons of Blake and Cutler beat people. Humberto Carrillo and Raul Mendoza. Mia Yim beat Rena Gonzalez. Ricochet. Open challenge was answered by Tyler Breeze, which Ricochet won, but there you go. Io Shirai and Dakota Kai beat Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke. Dominic Dijakovic beat Aaron Mackey. Heaven Machinery beat some enhancement team. Matt Riddle beat Cassius Ohno. So they did do the match and had an actual match. Ohno thought about shaking the hand, didn't, but then came to accept it, and then threw Riddle into the post and beat him up. And then the great thing is the crowd, bloody Ohno's music.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd were going, "You suck, you suck, you suck." Jackson Riker beat Mitch Taverna, which then had to be retaped because they wanted Riker to win with a powerbomb.
Oh, the slingshot powerbomb.
Then in a very interesting move, Lacey Evans, Mia Yim, and Io Shirai all lost to Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair is challenging Shayna for the women's title at TakeOver.
That's weird.
So the woman that's supposed to have the MMA background is going against the legit MMA person. That just seems odd. Undisputed Era beat Heavy Machinery to retain their belts. And then Gargano beat Aleister Black in a steel cage match. Because Aleister Black basically Gargano was on top of the cage, ready to escape, but Ciampa showed up, slammed the door into Black's face. Gargano got in the ring, stared down Ciampa with Black on his knees and getting up. And lo and behold, Ciampa and Gargano do DIY. And Gargano gets the win as Ciampa leaves waving his hand at Black.
See, if this was EWR or Promotion Wars, this is when Cassius Ohno would come and make the save. And then we get ourselves a tag match for TakeOver.
No, well, with respect, it should be either Mikey Whiplash. Stick with the ICW stuff. Or, I think Wolfgang was part of him for a bit. I can't remember. I mean, technically, because of the... Oh, I'm trying to remember who he tagged with in WXW. Can't remember off the top of my head. That's annoying. So I guess, is this the point where we now talk about what the fuck's going on with the UK scene again?
Yeah, this is bad. This is okay. This is a very interesting time to be an independent wrestler right now.
Yeah. I have no problem with the wrestlers doing what they're doing. My issue is what effect this is going to have on basically a fucking lot of it.
Systematically destroying the UK indie scene.
Pretty much. Very, very odd. Because, yeah, Fight Club Pro, per the whole Schadenfreude stuff, which became a Schadenfreude show on the Saturday, from what I remember. See if I can find them. I can't remember off the top of my head. Actually, I know where I should go because it will probably be on. Probably won't be on Cage Match. It'll be on the Twitter. I should follow. Oh, I forgot. In Mexican wrestling, we've got to talk about. Falaba. There we go. So Fight Club Pro 100. Chuck Mambo won the Scramble match. Gresham beat El Fantasmo. The Hunter Brothers beat Ringkampf. With Schadenfreude beating him down afterwards. Brooks said he was going to give the Hunters a tag title match, but now the titles won't be on the line. So the boss, Zaki, comes out and says, no, the title match is going to be right now. The bell rang, and the Hunter Brothers immediately somehow pinned Brooks and Gresham. So Hunter Brothers became the new tag champs in about 3 seconds. Pac and Aita are the first team in the Dream Tag Team Invitational in April. That's going to be an interesting team. Also, look, former WWE talent on a Fight Club show. Yay! Tanaka, Devlin, and Travis Banks beat Seven, Bate, and Maloney. David Starr beat Amari. And then Satomura and Dunn beat Aussie Open. And then afterwards, everything got destroyed. Ring Crew got beaten the shit out of. The owner got laid out. All the face wrestlers got laid out, and Schadenfreude stand tall, which makes sense because here's Schadenfreude's show that they somehow got. I can't remember how. Kyle Fletcher beat Orange Cassidy. Chuck Mambo beat Timothy Thatcher. Volta beat Masato Tanaka. Yes, that happened. Then the next one, Devlin, Maloney, and Banks versus British Strong Style. Losing team leaves Fight Club Pro forever. So,
Yeah,
of course,
Matt.
of course, British Strong Style lose. Despite the fact one of them fucking co-owns the thing. Then the Hunter Brothers beat CCK to retain the tag titles. And Miko Satomura beat Mark Davis to retain the Fight Club Pro title after the Fight Club Pro people ran off the Schadenfreude guys. And it is worth noting, Satomura now seems to be doing Pete Dunne's celebration in terms of the whole thing with the fists and having the belt in her teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So she is the new Pete Dunne, everybody.
Interesting.
What I will say, though, is this is the show that clearly shows you how you do deal with the WWE exodus. Because Kyle Fletcher and Orange Cassidy, not WWE. Mambo and Thatcher, not WWE. Walter and Tanaka, something's clearly going to happen with that, even though I don't think Fight Club Pro has got another show this year. I think this is the last event that they've got. Let me have a look. Yeah, their next event is the Tokyo Japan show. So I guess Walter just left winning, maybe. Pretty strong style, Devlin, Maloney, and Banks. Obviously, Devlin and Banks, I don't think are going to somehow be a part of the stuff. I don't know whether Maloney's on a contract. I'm not sure. Obviously, Strong Style are, but they wrote that out. The Hunter brothers, Brooks and Jonathan Gresham, well, Gresham's Ring of Honor, so that's unaffected. And Satomura beat Mark Davis, that's unaffected. Shows that are not affected by the stuff. So many of the Progress people that are signed or involved that I don't know what the fuck's going on with them.
Huh.
That's going to have to change with the next 2 or 3 shows that they've got going. See if I can find the details about Progress Wrestling and what shows they've got coming up. Events. So upcoming this weekend, we've got Chapter 80 of Gods and Monsters in Manchester. And then Pour Some Progress on Me, Chapter 81 on the Sunday. There are cards. I think on the Sheffield show, Jordan Grace is facing Tony Storm. Holy shit, I want to see that match. Except Tony Storm's WWE contracted, so how? Well, I guess the rules don't come in until January, so I guess we can just about do it by now.
Right.
And then the final show of the year, Unboxing Live Adulka Prague Away Kit on the 30th of December. So that'll be the last as we know it show. So they'll have to write out everybody that they have to by then. So we'll see. By the way, we actually now have results for AIW that we didn't have last week, by the way.
Yay!
Don't think there was anything else. So with the AIW stuff, MJF beat Swoggle somehow. The production beat No Consequences. With Magnum CK basically, pulled the ultimate act on the fans as he's taken the titles into retirement with him, which led to Weird World coming out, cashing in their title shot from winning the tag tournament from back at the J-Lit, and Weird World won.
Yep.
Then Magnum CK cut his farewell speech.
And
Lewis Linden won a scramble, which also featured LA Park Jr. or El Hayo de LA Park, but whatever. And then LA Park beat Nick Gage. What? That doesn't happen. Then again, it was a low blow, so I guess. Matt Justice beat Tim Donson and ODQ to become the new Intense champion. And then Hot Sauce Tracy Williams beat Eddie Kingston to retain the Absolute title. AIW is going back to or I should say going back. They're moving to Ohio Net in Palmer, Ohio, with Welcome to the Party Pal featuring Tanaka. They've also just announced that Scott Steiner is going to be part of their midnight show as part of the collective.
oh boy,
Tickets are selling out fast.
tickets will soon not be still available.
Steiner did well. That's the thing. Road to Battlecade from CWF Mid-Atlantic happened this past weekend. So we can get the notes up from that. T. Copa's Ulysses Opadamos beat All-Star Mance Lee to become the new CWF Rising Generation League champ. So there was some interesting stuff happening there. Trevor Lee retained his belt, and Otto Schwantz, defending the belt against Bobby Wolfert, went to a 10-minute TV time limit draw. So Schwantz retains. And Ethan Alexander Sharp and the Dirty Daddy beat Aaron Biggs and Mike Mars by pinfall for a shot at the tag titles at Battlecade, which I think is before the end of the year, Battlecade. Because I think it's their version of Starcade, so it's around about then. So as I say, Progress is happening this weekend. I'm not sure whether we've got can't even remember the name of the promotions. I've got to go to my fucking notepad. Because normally around this time stuff, where the fuck is my notepad? There it is. Well, I haven't used that in such a while. Trying to think of I can't think of the name of the fucking promotion. The one that bloody Amazing Red has.
House of Glory.
That's the one. That's the wrong one. I opened up the wrong file. God damn it.
Sorry, everyone. It's nice and loud for the rain outside. If you can't hear it, I apologize.
I think Dragon Gate Japan. Oh, I should probably have a look at that because Hack was going for one of the Dragon Gate titles. maybe.
Makes sense.
Oh no, it's happening today. I take it back. Masato Yoshino's defending his Open the Dream Gate title against Pac in like hours. Yeah, probably in about hours from now because it starts at 6:30. 6:30 Japan time. Let's have a look through the notes. See if there's anything that actually goes far ahead enough for me to be able to guess whether there's anything happening with the promotions. Obviously, ICW is done. The big stuff that came out of that, Jeff Jarrett turned heel on Grado. What a surprise. Which meant James Storm won. Oh, wait. James Storm and bloody Jeff Jarrett. What a surprise. Lionheart finally became ICW World Champion. British Strong Style lost to the Scottish ones because they were playing up the whole, oh, we're English, we're better than the Scots. The match that stole the show, though, was the hardcore match that Kaylee Ray and Viper had, which apparently was fucking crazy. I think Beyond Wrestling have got a show this weekend with Shikara. I know Shikara have got their finale, so I think it's some sort of. I mean, it's not a double header, but I think it's like 2 consecutive nights. Is the Shikara talents going to Beyond Wrestling's home this time? The Cybernetico stuff?
We've got some, I don't know what you want to call this, but I mean, this is news. Apparently, during the commercial break tonight on Raw, Rhino revealed that he's retiring.
Oh, that's why he lost. That's what. Well, that explains it, I guess.
That's what
Jeez.
I'm seeing now.
I guess that makes sense then. Weird to do it in Houston, but there you go.
Accurate.
Defiant Wrestling has got Loaded coming up this Sunday. And they're also taping, I believe, at some point. Let me have a quick look. Or did tapings already happen? I know they've got a show in January for the next set of tapings. Oh, the tapings actually happen tonight for Loaded, apparently. And it'll be airing on the YouTube every Sunday at 7 p.m. UK time, which is 2 Eastern. The big stuff to note is Volta's defending his internet title against El Fantasma and Chris Ridgway. I wonder if he's going to drop the title, Owen.
I wonder. Magic 8 Ball. Will Volta drop the title? Signs point to yes. Okay.
Also, interestingly, Lucky Kid from over in Portugal goes one-on-one with Amari. That should be a very interesting match. I really hope that gets put up sooner rather than later on their YouTube stuff. So I guess I'll probably be covering that, considering I'm running out of like Lucha Underground and other stuff to cover. And because unlike with all the NXT spoilers that are out there, Loaded stuff really doesn't leak out, amazingly.
Nope.
So you have to catch it to sort of see what's going on. Should probably quickly check. House of Hardcore, I don't think has got anything coming up, have they?
There's a lot coming up.
Owen would know because he's more in the loop on House of Hardcore.
Yeah, I mean there was the Blizzard Brawl the other night.
Oh, that happened with no notice. Oh, apparently House of Glory is next weekend. Their next show, their 8th anniversary show.
Yeah,
It's
House of Hardcore 52 is going to be on December 8th.
That's this weekend.
Yep.
With Tommy Dreamer versus PCO. Is that still happening despite Ring of Honor?
I don't know, because this show also includes Bully Ray versus Joey Ryan, Willie Mack versus Shane Strickland, Nick Aldis versus Brian Cage.
I'm guessing that's a yes then.
Yeah, it's James Ellsworth, Tyrus, RJ City, and David Arquette, Big Ass, and Adam Copeland.
Considering how many other considering how many of those names are like involved and whatever. Does make sense. Also, they are doing a charity show apparently on December 15th.
Correct.
Right before Final Battle. No, sorry, right after Final Battle.
It's the day of our last run of the year, actually. It's going to feature Tommy Dreamer, Rob Strauss, which of course is the former Robbie E, and Alex Reynolds, Lance Anaway, Crowbar, Devin Storm returning back in his old WCW gimmick, and Monique Dupree, and more to be announced very soon. Danny Doring will also be there as well. So
AAW Pro do have a show this weekend because thankfully some promotions actually list their card for the entire year early, so it's like I could make the notes like in February for like December. So yeah, last call. Does that mean Scott Hall's involved?
Oh boy.
Let's have a quick look.
Or James Storm.
Oh, Brody King versus Eddie Kingston for the heavyweight title. Trevor Lee versus DJZ for the heritage title. Darby Allin, Jimmy Jacobs in a LaSalle street fight. They're the ones that stand out, at least from what I can see on the card. Southside hasn't got anything until the Christmas, I think. WXW is not till next week. IPW Tuesday Night Graps is happening maybe this weekend. I'm not sure. I guess the one I should know about. This Sunday is it Sunday? CC Dub, Cage of Death.
With Onita?
Yeah, it's Sunday.
Should be.
Nothing added yet with that. The MLW stuff isn't till next week as well. The Shine Wrestling isn't till next week because it's the double header with one of the nights of Evolve. Defies next week. Pro Wrestling Eve, I don't think it's got a new show until next year. PWG, who knows?
we talked about the card for Cage of Death, didn't we?
Yeah, nothing has been added that I'm aware of. I mean, the fact that the most up-to-date post is Onita and... well, actually, come to think of it, I've noticed... Yeah, no, it has been made official. MJF is not defending his world title against Ricky Shane Page.
We'll be facing Mance Warner instead for the vacant championship.
The vacant title, yeah.
Yep.
So I guess that's the only adjustment that I can see that's happened. Oh, but there will be a pre-show showcase where Layla Hirsch will take on any and all comers. Or something. That is being streamed live, right? I might try and catch that if it is. Do they even have an iPay-per-view service anymore? Or is it just on demand? Oh no, CCW Studios does do live stuff, don't they? I'm trying to think, because nearly all the previous shows that they've done haven't been live, so can't even remember. I think that's probably all to cover. Raw went long just because I felt that I needed to talk about it. But, you know, it's annoying that we had to do it today because obviously tomorrow we're busy with...
I'll announce that in a minute.
Tomorrow we're busy with other stuff, so we couldn't really fit in to talk about good wrestling.
That's That's why your Monday show is going to be moving forward.
More than likely, yeah. Just having a quick look at the other stuff. Apparently, there's some All Japan stuff happening, some DDT stuff happening over the weekend, as well as the New Japan stuff. I don't see anything listed direct. Oh no, Cage of Death is going to be live. Good. I guess that gives me something to watch on Sunday. And to be honest, every day. As we build towards... Well, it gets interesting because that means, obviously, that Ring of Honor and TLC and Evolve and Shine are all happening the same weekend. That's going to be a bit crazy.
And I'm pretty sure I can't cover any of it.
Oh, probably not. If that's the case, I'll probably have to just do a TLC video and whatever.
I'm good with that.
Which is fair.
The only thing I really want to cover this week is that weekend's final battle, and I can't.
Owen needs to keep celebrating Street of the Year.
Yes.
Let's hope the Go Home show gets slightly better. But the problem is, with the storylines that you've got, you'd have to scrap them entirely and create new storylines.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but in the context, that's sort of near impossible, which is a shame. Anyway, I think that's probably it for tonight.
All right. So first off,
recap all that major stuff and other things next week.
Want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, or when you're checking out this archive. Thanks everyone for being in. There was no one in chat tonight, but I mean, I did see that there were people that were definitely watching and listening tonight. So thank you for that.
Is this a hint as to what WWE is trying to do with signing up talent? Because the Young Bucks have tweeted one day we'll wrestle a revival and everyone will rejoice. Remember this tweet. A revival leaving and going to Elite?
You know, honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be shocked. Because I don't think, because after we have trademarks, no one is going to WWE.
Everybody is.
Oh, God. That would be bad.
Interesting. Interesting. Dash and Dawson. An hour after this, tweeted, one day we'll wrestle the Young Bucks and everyone will rejoice. Remember this tweet. Is something fucking happening here?
Sounds like it.
Something fucking happening. This seems suspiciously suspicious. And that is super suspicious.
Indeed. Well, I will say that it is Monday night, and this has been your Monday Wrestling Podcast. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I am on Twitter at Ash is my name UK.
We're gonna have some more snack stashes in the near future, and
yeah, there's a McDonald's one that's ready to roll soon. I also picked up, whether some people will like this or not, I picked up a PlayStation Classic, so I'll be doing a sort of unboxing on that and giving sort of my thoughts on some of the situation stuff, among other things.
all right.
I've still got to work out how to get some sort of reference to a certain TV show in one of my products, because I blatantly thought that was the reason why the product was called what it was. It might just have to be I stick the DVD in the fucking background.
All right. So you can, if you so choose, follow me on Twitter at Sro and Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network. Check out our Facebook fan page, which eventually I will update at Popcast Network. If you like AJ content, worry not. The next edition of Speaking Bluntly will be coming your way on December 6th and 8th. So get ready for those. Those are coming out. We got a new Sip and Snack coming out on Wednesday. Probably. AJ content will kick into the weekend, as always, with AJ's movie reviews and verses. And who knows, we got some more things coming your way before 2018 is over. And yes, I officially can make the announcement in 10 hours from this very moment. AJ will once again join Ashley and myself as we go live with a live chat room, dangerous as that may be with this topic. It is our November predictions for the 2019 Academy Awards. And that's coming your way at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So 11 o'clock.
I'm going to have to make a
December 4th.
request. I'll do it again in 11 hours or so, but I'll have to make a request to AJ to watch Sorry to Bother You soon.
Well, it's not easy to watch things that are not easy to watch right now.
Is it not out on DVD yet?
I don't believe so. Or maybe it's coming this week. I don't know at this point.
Sorry to Bother You Blu-ray. Yeah, it came out October 23rd. And I'm looking at the American listing because it hasn't come out in cinemas yet over here. So yeah, it's been out for a month.
I mean, it might be coming. I'm sure it's going to be coming soon.
Because that is one that's going to crop up for certain, probably in the Spirit.
Probably.
And may, depending how the Academy wants to go, I think, not spoiling sort of the stuff I'm talking about, but it might be getting in some of the categories on my list. Maybe not screenplay, but I think there's a shout of it being in music in some shape or form.
Oh, yeah. Well, considering next month we're going to be doing, well, at the end of this month, we're doing the December, and then in January, we're going to do everything. If you're getting 2 Oscar prediction podcasts, either this month or at the beginning of January. So get ready for that. If you're a fan of Oscar content here on the Podcast Network.
If you're not, tell your friends that are.
Exactly. So on that note, I'm going to get some sleep. And as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you have chosen a podcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Props to John Hennigan, because he's got a t-shirt now that just says Johnny Gimmick name. He's embraced it. Yay!